impeachment word was everywhere. Governors being threatened to be impeached, CECs that we had appointed being threatened to be impeached by the county assembly members. And therefore, the first time, we retreated back to our counties to make sure that everything is in order and that we establish necessary structures at that time that will make us move devolution forward. So the rationale that
we are going, but most important, if I can just pick a few that we have done, we developed and launched the Lake Region Economic Bloc Blueprint, which was launched by the fourth. Organized the inaugural Lake Region Trade Investment and Blue Economy Conference in Bomet in 2020. Global Sustainable Blue Economy Conference, which took place in we have the pillar committee, the secretariat that supports the whole operation of Lake Region Economic Bloc. So we have made sure that that structure is there, and I'm grateful to the foundation that supported us. Rob? Which foundation supported us to establish the secretariat? Projects, you saw the pillars that we have under various counties. We have pillar committees under those pillars. We have enhanced feasibility and awareness. You go everywhere in this region. Resource maps. And recently, we have come out with a strategic plan for the Lake Region Economic Bloc that covers 2022 to 2027. We have all wrestling there. We have had problems here and there. So I'm happy that the British government has been able to support us in this area. We have spearheaded the revival of the sugar industry. And because of our push, the former president appointed the sugar industry task force, which he appointed me as the chair. We had several meetings with stakeholders in this Lake Region Economic Bloc, and we made a recommendation to the president, and I hope that they will use that document to revive the sugar industry. We have of late drafted cotton textile and apparels strategy, which I hope the colleagues who have come in will move it forward. Ladies and gentlemen, the achievement outlined above would have been more had it not been for a number of challenges we faced during this journey. And I think when the former Controller of Budget was here, she enumerated some of them. But the most important one is the commitment by the national government. Most of these
to operate in a very standardized to various levels, and it was forwarded to the national cabinet, but unfortunately lost. We had a dream as a regional bloc of having a regional bank, and we agreed
that every county will contribute 100 million Kenya shillings, 200 million Kenya shillings, and we provided for in our budget. But because of lack of national policy, it was not possible to move this money. I'm grateful to Kisumu, they had already moved their money at that time. And I remember the frustrations that we went through with Professor Nyang' Nyong'o. We went to the Treasury to meet the then CS in charge of finance, and we were kept 2 hours waiting. And the last thing he did, he gave us junior officers to discuss with us about the bank. And they were asking if we have capacity to run the bank, as if it is the shareholders who run the bank. Those are the frustrations we went through, and we could not establish a bank. And in fact, it generated a lot of interest that time, that even other banks, international banks, were interested to buy shares within that particular bank. This is something for you governors who have come in to take it up. We have this problem of dual membership, because as I've mentioned, we have 7 economic blocks, regional economic, 7 of them. So there are other members who are in either 2 or you can be in 3. But most of them are in 2, especially the LREB. We have here Trans-Nzoia, which is in the LREB, and is also here. Where is your heart? And it involves financial commitments. Do you have the capacity to be contributing to LREB and also contributing to Lake Region Economic Bloc? This might be another challenge that we need to look into in the near future. The other issue that we have had a challenge is legislation, harmonized legislation. Because one of the objectives of the regional bloc, especially ours, was to make trade amongst ourselves easier, so that there are no obstacles. There are no matatu roadblocks. If a matatu is moving from Kakamega to Kisumu, there's no roadblock between Kakamega and Kisumu to collect some money from the matatus, so that they are able to move freely. But to do this, we need to harmonize legislation that will take care of that. So when it comes to finance bill that is discussed every year or comes up every year, we need to harmonize. We need the Secretariat to support us, so we have at least one finance bill that we can all agree, especially when it comes to trade issues. The other one is capacity. Of course, because we have not been fully developed because of constraints of finance. Capacity is an issue, and we will need all of us some challenges that the outgoing summit must dispense with. As we move here, so when we are here, we are not supposed to talk of Azimio, Kenya Kwanza, ingine ni gani. If we were to undertake those projects that we have seen some presenters proposing, then that issue will be looked into. We have to look at our strategic plan so that we align them to the national development plans and the medium-term plan for the 5 years. that need to be done, and proper engagement of private sector. Because as I've said, as we engage private sector, we must make sure that the national government is involved. Because if there were any flow of funds to counties, according to the Constitution, those funds will have to go through us on research on various issues so that we are able to move on. I would like, we started this movement together, this idea together. Professor Nyang is here, Honorable Wilbur Otichro, the late Joyce Laboso, who passed on and was replaced by Hilary Barchok, Wycliffe Wangamati, Sospita Onyamong, Cyprian Awiti, Professor Paul Chepkonyi, James Ongwae, Zachary Okoth Obado, Stephen Sang, Amos Nyaribo. After the passing on of Nyakarama, we unfortunately we lost 2 governors last time, and Colonel commitment, and commitment more from you governors who have come in. I want to do one thing. After this, you will all go for lunch. And after lunch, please go away. The meeting will be over. We will meet next time. I will come there as Raya like you when I come next time. But because I'm very passionate about Lake Region Economic Bloc. And the governors can meet after this at Ugwe, therefore some housekeeping issues. Now, yesterday, the governor set a meeting, which I chaired, and made some decisions. Because I'm now the outgoing governor, outgoing chairman, and there must be another chairman to take over and the vice chair. He has only been chair. I've been the chair for the last They have said they need 1 year election, 1 year election. Maybe I'm going to be the longest serving chairman because I've been there for 5 years. Now they have identified 2 very committed colleagues whom we have worked together before, and I hope the 2 gentlemen, I don't know them, but I will request Gladys Wanga to identify these 2 gentlemen and bring them on board. The first one, chairman, is Professor Are you sure this is Professor Nyang Nyong? Bring the vice chair. This is the two gentlemen that the governors who are seated here has bestowed the responsibility of moving this organization forward for the next 1 year. And as usual, is the Lake Region Economic Bloc Agreement. The previous 14 governors signed an agreement. So these other 14, the ones that have been elected, will have to sign this. Will have to sign this agreement for further commitment. And end the occasion. Na mimi napepa msiko yangu, sasa naondoka. My governor and my chair, Governor Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya, CPA, my colleague governors in front of me today, CPA. Wycliffe has not only served the Lake Region Economic Bloc for 5 years, but he has served Kakamega County for 10 years without any interruption of impeachment or any shenanigans. Makofi kwake basi. Wycliffe is also the only person so far who did lead the Council of Governors for 2 continuous years, and I said 2.5 because in the 3rd year it took us time to try and find a suitable replacement for Wycliffe. I don't know whether we found one, but we have a chair nonetheless. I feel humbled to be given the trust and confidence to step into the line. It's an animal reproduction center that we in Kisumu County have established, and as I said, while we transport medical commodities, agricultural commodities, and all that using zipline, we will also be able to transport veterinary commodities from the Chelemenzi. About will definitely be passed in the next couple of months, I hope, if we work hard with our senators and our parliamentarians and of course our people. We must give us the supplement with those few remarks. I thank you for welcoming me and accepting me as the chairman of the Lake Region Economic Bloc. You have no other alternative because the governors have said so. And for that matter, I give you a gift to go to lunch, all of you. Oh, the vice chair. This is a very bad start, vice chair. You may even overthrow me at this rate. Before I invite you for lunch, I would like to, yes, it's reminding me of other things. I'm reminded, of course, that the pillars remain also behind after lunch. I think Bob will give you details about lunch. The pillars remain behind, and the discussion that was to go on, Victor is going to give you. But while doing that, could I take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to invite my vice chair, the indomitable Governor Lusaka, also
the next 1 year. I also want to congratulate my colleague, Governor Oparanya, and his team. You've done a great job. And if the things that we have seen here are going to happen, I can tell you when the history is written of this region, we will not be given a paragraph, it will be a whole book, because that's going to transform this region. Fate has always put me together with Professor Nyang Nyong, even when we were having our election.
As I said, we are going to have lunch, we are going to meet. We will not tell you where we are meeting, but we are not with you. We know where we are meeting as governors, and we'll have lunch there after this. Now you go to lunch, and then what? They come back here after 1 hour. Please come back here, because there are few, we will only spend 1 hour after that. There are a few discussions that have not been done, which is very important to you, so we request you to do that. 2 days, faithfully listening and participating. Let me just remind you who the deputy governors are. Can you stand up and just say your names unto the people? Can you give the deputy governors microphone just to say their names so that people know we have deputy governors here? Please, quickly. Yeah.
Your Excellency, I had already introduced myself. My name is Dr. Yulita Mitei, Chariot, Deputy Governor Nandi.
My name is Pastor Jennifer Batiani, Deputy Governor Bungoma.
Matthew Ochieng Willie, Deputy Governor Kisumu.
Dr. Mahiri Joseph, Deputy Governor Migori County.
Robert Monda, Deputy Governor Kisii County.
Joseph Magwanga, Deputy Governor Homa Bay. Thank you.
Wilberforce Kitiezo, Deputy Governor Vihiga County.
We thank you very much, because you'll always be attending meetings where we are not, to carry on the discussions. So it is important that we came with our deputy governors, so that the link and the memory of such meetings are not lost to any county. So thank you very much for coming. Finally, there's a communique, a joint communique, which we are issuing today at the end of this LREB summit held at Sierra Resort, Kisumu County on the 20th to 21st of December, the year of our Lord 2022. I'm reading this communique because we governors will not come back to this plenary. Acknowledging that the August 9th, 2022 general elections held in Kenya ushered in new leadership in the country, knowing that there is need to therefore transition the leadership of the Lake Region Economic Bloc, aware that the residents of the bloc are looking upon the leadership to realize gains from economies of scale due to utilization of shared resources, being aware that this potential has not been realized because of inadequate enabling infrastructure such as policy frameworks, joint public and private investment ventures, being convinced that the member counties of the Lake Region Economic Bloc stand to gain by leveraging on the economies of Egerton University in Nakuru County will take the lead in respiratory diseases. 3, we shall seek to support the support of the national government to issue sovereign bonds for concessional loans in securing funding for the county and for the Center of Excellence in Healthcare Education and Training project that will build specialist capacities in health for Kenya and the globe. 4, from internal and external resources to be actively involved in implementation of projects. 8, we will affirm our resolve to support the realization of our shared vision as envisaged in the LREB agreement by creating an enabling and conducive environment in our counties. 9, commit that all our activities, programs and plans shall mainstream women, people living with disabilities and other vulnerable segments of LREB population for inclusive, sustainable growth and development. 10, we shall support the implementation of LREB Blue Economy Multi-Agency Action Plan and recognize the Blue Economy Multi-Agency Technical Committee. 11, affirm our support for implementation of climate change, natural resources management, and environmental protection programs and actions with support from partners. 12, LREB member counties will support programs geared towards elevating food and nutrition insecurity, employment creation, income generation, value addition, and processing through the establishment of integrated agricultural and industrial parks. 13, consider approval of MOU between LREB and Mirima Foundation in aquaculture value chain. 14, consider renewing the MOU between LREB and Popcorn Enatech, India, for another 3 years to facilitate project implementation. 15, engage roving specialists across member counties and include mentorship and training of young professionals in the health sector. 16, prioritize public health and community health and health insurance coverage for all the population towards UHC and SDGs. 17, install integrated data information and commodity systems